Good morning, welcome to the Cigar Cabin, home of great cigars and honest reviews. So today I'm going to just run through something that I get asked often, and that's cutting a cigar. How's the best way to cut a cigar, and pretty much what my preferred way is. So I'm going to run through a couple of ways that you can cut a cigar. So for example, you've got your punch, you've got your V-cut, and you've got your straight cut. So I'm just going to run through a couple of the basics just to help you in your cigar journey. I have got Big Reggie sat here with me, and I hope this helps. So first things first, I'm going to go through the punch cut. So the punch cut is also known as the bullet cut. Now I have this tool here, which is absolutely fantastic. It's from the Cigar Holders in London. It has two punches. It has one on this end which you draw out nice and smoothly, and you have a punch on this end. So they are slightly different sizes. So I'm not going to use the bigger size today, but one thing you do need when you're doing a punch cut is make sure these are extremely sharp, because what you don't want to do when you're doing the punch is to crack the top. These have to be very, very sharp. So in order to get a successful punch cut, you need to obviously take it open. Obviously you've got the head of the cigar there with the cap, and this is the shoulder, and what you've got to do is find the center of the cigar. So once you find the center, you have to push very slowly and carefully, because if you do it too rough you might fracture the top, it might split and all sorts. So it really is just a light push all the way through the top, and then you just extract. And this is why it's called the bullet cut, because it looks like a bullet there. This though, when you're smoking it, can burn hotter because there's not as much surface area exposed. So this burns quite hot, and it can be, you know, a bit more difficult to get more of the flavours out of it. But give it a couple of draws. That seems fairly loose, but that's preferred mainly on the bigger ring gauge cigars. This is a 5x60, so a punch works perfectly if you don't really feel comfortable, you know, putting your mouth around that bigger cigar. So that's the punch cut, also known as the bullet cut. So this is the V cut. This is a Calibri V cut. This is fantastic. It is almost foolproof. I absolutely love the V cut. It is one of my favorites. So basically it's got a release button there, and it obviously opens up the V cut. And what you're doing here is you're taking the cigar, and with the V cut it's pretty much, you're not going to have any problems with the wrapper or cutting too low and it all unwinding. So you pretty much take the cigar, you take the V cut, and you literally put it into the middle, make sure it's very straight, and you give that an easy cut. Simple as that. That gives you your V cut. Now what a V cut does, it opens up more of the cigar. So if you're opening it up about 80%, it's going to burn cooler, which is fantastic, and it will bring out more flavours and nuances from the cigar, and it will also give you a less tight draw. And I do love the V cut. I think it looks absolutely perfect. And what you can also do, if you're feeling extravagant, you can also take the V cut, turn it the opposite way, and you can also do what's known as the rose cut or the crown cut. So you're basically just putting it back in the other way and giving it another cut, and it gives you this cut here, which is also known as the crown cut. And I think that looks fantastic, and again it opens up the cigar a lot more, and you're going to get more flavours, and you're also going to get a much cooler burn. So that is the V cut, and I personally love the V cut. It's just so easy. So onto the double guillotine cut. This is absolutely amazing. I do love this cut. It's one of the easiest. You can get a double guillotine cutter here, so it has two blades that work simultaneously. You've literally got the cigar, and if you know about cigars, the cigars always come with a cap. What you can't do with this particular cut is go below the cap, because what'll happen then, it'll unravel and it'll be an absolute nightmare of a smoke. So what you need to do is obviously see where the cap line is, and you're just taking off the top surface there. So it's as simple as this. Just find your spot, which is there, and you have to make a very sharp, precise like cut. So what I'm doing is just going straight through it, simple as that. Just wipe off any residue. That there is a straight guillotine cut. Now that will make a much cooler smoke because you're almost opening it up 100%. This is a fantastic and easy cut. But if you're unsure and you don't want to do that kind of cut because you're worried that you do go below the cap, you can also get these from Calibri. This has kind of a backboard, so you cannot go wrong with it. So if you're a beginner and you don't really want to have the risk of unraveling your cigar and you want to have like a foolproof way of doing it, get this cigar from Calibri. It is absolutely fantastic. You will not have a problem with it. It just gives it a nice clean cut and you cannot go wrong. So now we come to the Torpedo. I love Torpedo cigars. I think they're absolutely great. So there's a few different ways to cut a Torpedo. Some people take them further down here. Some people take it about 1/4 of an inch. Some people angle it. Or some people are now doing a V-cut on a Torpedo. So it is down to personal preference, but the way I like to cut a Torpedo is I like to cut a straight cut about probably 1/4 of an inch from the top. Because what that does, it gives me a lovely draw. These are all draw tested at wherever they're made. So they're made for that. So when you take off probably 1/4 of an inch, which I'll show you now, simple as that, just put it into your double guillotine cutter and take off 1/4 of an inch. It's fell on the floor, which is pretty much that there. Okay, and basically you're drawing from basically 42 to a 54, which for me gives a lovely taste. It makes all the tastes and flavors come out of this cigar, and like I said, these have all been draw tested. So that, in my opinion, is the best way to cut a Torpedo cigar or even a Perfecto, because it does give you nice clean draw and it feels great in the mouth. I really do love the Torpedo cigar. So one thing I also want to just point out is, obviously when you're using your cutters all the time and you're worried about how to sharpen them, or do I need to go and buy a new cutter, because one thing you don't want is a blunt cutter. Now I have a little tip for you. So the tip is, and I'm going to show you right now. So you take some aluminium foil. We call it tin foil here in the UK if you're watching this in America. And you literally probably do that and in half again. Roll this up, punch it as if it were a cigar, maybe. Make it quite thin so it'll work in all your cutters. And basically what you do, for example, if I was to want to sharpen my V-cut, I would just take the V-cut, open it, and just cut down. Open, back in, and cut down. Open, maybe try it 3 times, back in, and cut down. This will sharpen your blades. So I apologise to any manufacturer that sees this, because I know you want to make sales, and I do apologise, Calibri, but that works with any of your cutters. So that's your V-cut, and the same with your straight cut. Just down, open up, and do another cut, and this will sharpen your blades. So that's a tip from myself on your cutters. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it's you've enjoyed listening to what kind of different cuts there are in the cigars and what to do. But that's my opinion. So please subscribe to my channel. Put some comments in the comment section of what your favourite cut is. So on that note, from me and Reggie, stay safe and happy smoking.